Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I think what's going on in Avdiivka in Russia, Ukraine, whatever you want to call it, and Donbass in Donetsk Oblast is very bad for the Ukrainians. I think that the Russians at this point are just conducting cleanup operations within the city. I think the city has been lost for, I would say, almost 2 months. But these guys are just clinging to it like, I don't know, people die, I think, for no reason. The whole war should not have started, let's put it this way. But it seems like the Russians have over there about 40,000 troops deployed only in Avdiivka, and that tells me that these guys are just going to overwhelm the city with no problem, which I think it's already surrounded. These guys inside, whomever is trapped over there, should just come out and say, hey, we come out as prisoners. And this is reported by Ukrinform, by the Ukrainians. So big developments over there, not surprising. Why? Because for me, I think this has been done 2 months ago. So let's go and check this out. I will have this article from Ukrinform today, the 8th of December 2023, and I will have also a map. So it says that over 40,000 Russian military deployed in Avdiivka sector. The enemy, has amassed more than 40,000 troops in the Avdiivka direction, while the Russian command is losing up to 400 soldiers each day. Blah, 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 blah. Against whom? Who's defending that city? 3 people and 5 dogs. Anyway, it's a crime what's going on over there, my friends. It's a crime what's going on in Ukraine. And what bothers me is that other people organized it and channel it towards this tragedy of our people. So here is Avdiivka right here. I think the situation is even worse than this, but nevertheless, this is where see, they show only this much. This is from today. If I put right here, it's going to say battle are raging in the city. This is a Russian map. If I remember correctly, last time when I checked this one, they were like almost everything was done. Only a little bit of right over there. But I don't know, these guys need to update probably their map. So where this is located, here in Donetsk Oblast. And this is right in the middle of the front, almost right there in the far east. All right, let's go back to the article. Alexander Stupun, the spokesman for the Tavria grouping of troops, made the statement on the air of the National Telethon Ukrinform report. And I'm quoting, about 40,000 personnel are currently operating in the Avdiivka sector, even a little more. The enemy is suffering truly significant losses, on average about 300 to 400 people per day. Russian terrorists are currently not reducing the intensity of their infantry operations. Avdiivka and Marinka is where most clashes are reported, so there are the hottest zones. So Marinka is south of Avdiivka. So if Avdiivka is right here, Marinka is right here. So Avdiivka, Marinka, let's see what the Russians are saying. Battles are raging in the city. I would say that battles are mostly fought right here in Kupiansk, in Kharkiv Oblast. Right here is where the Ukrainians took their people away, and they just how do you call it? I always have a problem remembering this. I think it starts with an E. Evacuation. I already have a problem. It's like something in my brain doesn't connect. Many things don't connect, but anyway, this in particular. So evacuated this area right here, and now they tell us that the worst is in the middle. I guess everywhere is bad. Avdiivka and Marinka is where most clashes are reported, so there are the hottest zones. The enemy is currently operating with armored support. If armored support, it means they are advancing. Our soldiers are burning those IFVs down, of course. The enemy has also actively employed aviation over the past day. They dropped 40 guided air bombs all on Donetsk region. The enemy records many losses but continues to pull up reserves because they have 145 million people in that country and potentially 30 million adult population available to pick from. All right, the so-called Storm Z units, as well as newly mobilized, not very trained soldiers. Their commanders treat them like animals. Okay, yeah, blah, 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 blah. It is recorded that they are sometimes even left out. Okay, this is garbage because they try to master empathy, and I don't like when they try to master empathy. I like evidence, facts. Empathy, yes, but when you're alone, not, The spokesman noted that the enemy launched a total of 24 airstrikes and 648 artillery strikes, as well as engaged in 56 combat clashes in the past day, while Ukrainian forces destroyed 20 units of Russian military equipment, including 4 tanks and 11 armored fighting vehicles. Now, between you and I've been covering this for almost 2 years, and every day, at least 3 times a day, I've been reading a lot of media reports, especially the Ukrainians. And this is what I noticed. When they report Russia's losses, they multiply it by 3. So if they said, let's say, 30 tanks, they probably destroyed 10. The Russians, they multiply it by 2. So if the Russians say, we destroyed 20 tanks, that means they destroyed probably 10. So half. And when the Ukrainians claim they achieved something, we advanced, let's say, 30 kilometers, probably they advanced 10. And the Russians, we advanced 20 kilometers, probably they advanced 10. Okay, half. So again, when these guys are telling us 20 airstrikes, they lost 20 units, probably they lost 5 or 6 or something like that, 7, just to be in the 3. And they ran again, with including 4 tanks, probably 1, and then 11 armored fighting vehicles, probably 2 or 3. And I'm quoting, we continue to destroy the enemy's logistics. We make it as difficult as possible for them to pull in their ammunition, food, and fuel. Our artillery operates non-stop because you have ammunition, right? All fire capabilities are in action to reduce the enemy's offensive potential, Stapun said. Okay, as the Ukraine phone reported, okay, now they tell us how many died. Again, I don't trust that a second. Why? Because when these guys are telling me how many losses the enemy has, but they will never tell you their losses, that's a big problem. You say, yeah, I mean, it's logical. Okay, it's logical. I admit you don't want to create panic, but what about the media? What about people that know? There are people, institutions, organizations who know the numbers. You don't know them by 1 or 2 or 3 at the end, but you know it's about 30,000, 35,000, 45,000, 43,000, 49, an approximation with a margin of error of, let's say, 5%, even 10%, and still I haven't heard them say it. That tells you that's an order, not order, order. It's an order somewhere that these guys can keep quiet, so regimented. That reminds me of Putin when it was it was the Olympics in Beijing. It was the opening ceremony. I don't know how many years ago, 2000. I don't know. I can't remember when it was the Olympics in Beijing, and he attended it. The Georgian president with yes sir to Al Capone with his American instructors, they started the war in South Ossetia, if you remember. Remember? Abkhazia, South Ossetia, they started and they killed some Russians. The mass media in the West shut its trap for about 24 hours because Putin said in one of his interviews, doesn't mean it's true. But you can verify that. Not the interview. Verify when the minute it started until they reported that gap. And Putin said in that interview, it was astonishing, he said, to note how the mass media, the Western mass media, kept its mouth shut for 24 hours. He said, that's what he said, I want to, as if, he said, an order was issued. He said, I want to congratulate them for following the orders so, precisely. And the same. It's just nobody says anything, and I guarantee you they know. They know. How you know the Russians' losses, you should know the Ukrainian losses. The same way. So that tells you the free media is not free media. I mean, I'm a free person. Supposedly, these are free media in free countries, not allied, not at war. So if you would have a, I don't know, how should I put it, investigator. No, I always have a problem with this word as well. Jesus Christ. How do you call these weasels? Not media people. That's how I call them. But that's not, starts with an I guess. Whatever. You have these guys going and writing articles. None of them has the information. Nobody prints it. Nobody. It's unbelievable. That tells you how free we are. They don't want us to know because of them. What do I have with those guys? Nothing. But still, they will not do it. Because of Russia? So here it is, my friends. Here it is. I think, as I've said many times before, Avdiivka is done, clearly. I don't know what the Ukrainians get out of it still. They killed 3, 4, 5 Russians. Not 400 or 600 the way they say, or whatever, 3 to 400. By the way, this is an Adidas box with a cat sleeping in there. So otherwise it was crazy around here. So I brought it over there. Over there. So anyway, we're going to find out. We're not going to find out because I think it already happened. I'm waiting for the mass media in the West to start telling us Avdiivka is done. I think it's done. It's just cleaning operation in the town. It just flattened everything over there. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.